Welcome to Sampstra Games, the place to find new strategy games, and welcome to my All Objectives Complete guide in Unity of Command 2. This time we will be doing the 4th Casino. Welcome to the tactics window of 4th Casino. Now, in this particular scenario, the code words are feint attack and zone of control, because that's going to be really interesting. So first up, let's talk about Monte Maggio and Monte Cassino. The difficulty here is that both of these units are fortified in mountains, so it's going to be really difficult this time. So essentially, both set piece attack and suppressive fire has a very low chance of succeeding, especially in Monte Cassino. On Monte Maggio, the set piece attack works, which means that you will have to use feint attacks in order to capture these places. Now, with feint attack, you can move after you use a feint attack, but the difficulty is you cannot feint attack over a river. So essentially, in order to feint attack Monte Cassino, the only options are these hexes, and for Monte Maggio, these hexes. Now, the problem is that, first of all, you can't get to the places I just drew. But second of all, even if you do, in order to feint attack, you need to sort of get in that place, feint attack, and then get out, so that some other unit, like this one, for example, could then go to the place and do the same thing, right? So you need to get in, use the attack, and get out. Now, the problem with that is the zone of control. Let me quickly recap what zone of control is. For example, for this tank, the zone of control will be all of these hexes. And what zone of control does is that if you step in with some of your units, you can step in, but you cannot on the same turn leave its zone of control or move anywhere in its zone of control. You can only get in, and that's it on that one turn. So the problem is, let's imagine this unit is just gone. Let's imagine that. If I move in here with some of my units to do the feint attack, I can do the feint attack on Monte Maggio, that's fine, but I can't leave. And because I can't leave, I cannot take a different unit and step in again. I can't do that. So that's why it's really difficult on this map, is that you have to both watch out for the zone of control and the feint attacks. Another thing with the feint attacks to watch out for is that you obviously need to have enough movement to be able to get in and then get out. So first thing you gotta do is you gotta destroy these units so that you can even get to Monte Maggio. So you wanna start off by focusing on this, and then you wanna push in from the other side as well. Your aim will be to, like I said, destroy these units and then connect this up all of here, so that the units here will eventually be able to use the abilities of your HQ as well, because right now they're out of range of its HQ and they cannot use them. Then you're going to use your feint attacks to destroy Monte Maggio on turn 2, which is where you need to take it, and on turn 3 you're going to destroy Monte Cassino. Now, one thing you can do on the turn before you're going to take it is destroy their entrenchment. So you might want to use set piece attack here on Monte Maggio and from someone here to Monte Cassino, because they're both fortified. So if you can get them to 0, they wouldn't, even if they try to entrench themselves, they wouldn't be able to get back to fortification fast enough. So that would actually be helpful. Also, if you could trick the enemy to take this unit and move it on to Monte Maggio, so you would want to weak the one that is there and get them to it will be actually quite beneficial for you, because then you have both this hex and this hex empty, and you can feint attack Monte Cassino from different hexes. It is definitely possible to take Monte Cassino even if this is the only hex you have, but it's going to be a bit more difficult due to the whole zone of control thing and stuff like that. So you definitely want to make sure that you destroy this and that. Now, once you have both of these things, you want to push forwards towards round 6. I need to take round 6 by the time it's turn 5. Here, really there is like no special tactics, just want to push in, and you don't necessarily need to kill everyone, so just try to sort of get to round 6 as quickly as possible and sort of like make a path to get in there. And then you're going to be pushing forwards towards Rome. Make sure that you resupply your units, and when you can, especially once you connect up this area, you will be able to use the sort of deployable steps that you have in your US HQ and put them into these units, which you wouldn't be able to do now because those units are out of range. And then you just want to use all of your army and slowly push forwards towards Rome. Again, you do not need to kill everyone. You just want to kind of make space around Rome so that you can surround Rome from at least 2 hexes, ideally more than that, so that you can again use the combination of feint attacks, maybe some suppressive fire, whatever is going to be effective, but make sure that you have some places where you can step your units around them. Do not try to out of supply room, again, like it was in the previous map, it has multiple supply routes, so you really can't out of supply. It's just really like a straight up frontal attack where you just try to go around a little bit and then attack them. But there might be some enemy units here that you, for example, don't need to fight. You're just going to kind of sneak around them, get around Rome, and get that attack done. Alright, that's it from the tactics window. Now let's begin. Alright, welcome back from the tactics window. This time we're gonna do a slightly different format that is much faster. But don't worry, I'm not gonna talk fast. I'm gonna try to talk slow this time around. And let me know if you prefer this new format or the regular one. So we're gonna play the history mode. You can actually play history mode in the game. After you finish any scenario, you can play it sort of like history. So we're gonna start off over here. First thing I'm doing is setting this bridge to get repaired, and then I'm just deploying some of the units that I have left over in the US HQ. And adding some additional bridges. Then I've moved the HQ to this position. Now next up what I'm doing is I'm taking this unit and taking the steps from the units and reorganizing them into the British HQ. And then I'm going to be deploying these steps into the units here next to Casino to make them a little bit stronger. Now this is a really good thing that you can do before battle, because the units that you reorganize are available immediately on the same turn. Alright, so then I've moved the British HQ here and started the battle. Now why am I attacking this unit when we care about Monte Maggio? So as I might have said in the tactics window already, the problem with Monte Maggio is you can't go from over here, because in order to cross a river, if there is no bridge, and there is no bridge here, and you can't build a bridge because you don't have the control over that, is that you need to have all of your movement points. So the only unit that can get to Monte Maggio over river is this one. And the problem is you're going to need to use the abilities of this one to get to destroy the people on Monte Maggio, so you actually can't use it. Now, as for the movement from this side, the problem is, first of all, the units are in the way. But the only unit that could get there is this one, because any other unit, if it moves onto this hex, it will be blocked by the zone of control of this unit, so it cannot move through on the same turn. So essentially, even if you kill everybody in Monte Maggio and this place is going to be empty, you can't get there. So your aim is to first to kill off the units over here, so then the following turn you can focus on Monte Maggio. So I'm using my ability to destroy this unit. Now I'm switching my units around and using some regular attacks to destroy it. I think the first attack was suppressive attack. Then I'm using set piece attack on Monte Maggio. You might ask why? Well, because we are lowering their fortification to 0. So even if they try to get entrenched, they won't be able to do it all. And then we're trying to weaken the unit on Monte Maggio for 2 reasons. Either the unit will be weak and next turn will be easier to destroy it, but more likely what's going to happen is that once this unit is weakened, the unit over here will move in, and this unit is actually pretty strong, but the benefit is that this hex is going to be empty, which is going to make it easier for us to surround Monte Cassino. That's what we care about. So that's why we're trying to weaken this unit as much as possible. Then we need to destroy this unit so we can push around Monte Cassino from the other side, so that we're going to have it easier to take over Monte Cassino. And I'm just moving the rest of my forces forward over here. That's nothing really interesting. And deploying the reinforcements that I was given. Next up, we focus over here. We have a pretty good hit on this 0-2, and then we're just kind of pushing our units forward, and that is it. Right. And we keep on hitting Monte Maggio. Now we can't quite finish them off, but that's alright. We're just kind of trying to stop them. Okay, so the enemy is pushing away, and it's moving in with the super strong unit, which is really, really good. However, obviously, because they lost their entrenchment, because they moved out of it. So it's going to be much easier for us to destroy them. And it generally moves out of here. Now, at this turn, we have 2 different sort of goals. At this turn, our goal is to first of all take Monte Maggio, and secondly connect up to here so that these units will be able to use the ability of our HQ. And again, because of the zone of controls, you need to kill off the units that are around here, otherwise you wouldn't be able to get to Monte Maggio. Okay, so that's why we're kind of first focusing on killing all of this around, to make sure that we can always step in with our unit and then step out and let another unit move in, otherwise we wouldn't be able to do that. Alright, we started off with feint attack. Now the problem is that because the people on Monte Maggio are still in the mountain, we have very weak attacks, so suppressive fire and set piece attack don't do anything useful. So we are going to be using feint attack. So we use a feint attack, we move out, step with the new unit, use a feint attack. Again, this wouldn't be able to be possible with all the zone of control stuff we had before. So second unit's feint of attack, feint attack again, move, and we just keep going. Over there, we're hitting those guys there so that we can surround Monte Cassino. That was kind of intermezzo doing something else in the middle, and now we continue focusing on Monte Maggio. Airstrike, and at this point they have low enough HP, essentially, like they have all of their steps suppressed, so we can start attacking them. Another cool trick with Monte Cassino and Monte Maggio, we're not really using it in Monte Maggio, but we'll use it later in Monte Cassino, is if you can get a chance of retreat on the unit and the unit is cornered and the unit has to retreat, then all of its steps will be separate. So for example, if I could, if Monte Maggio had still 2 steps and I could corner it and then make it retreat, it would immediately lose all of the steps. So it's a trick that you want to use on this map particularly a lot. Right now, I'm just, because you can see, yeah, it's at cornered right now. So if it had some active steps, they would immediately get suppressed. And I'm moving into Monte Maggio, and then I'm using set piece attack on people in Monte Cassino, just again to make sure they don't have entrenchment, so it's going to be a little easier next turn. And then you want to try to destroy this tank if possible, so that you have sort of a bit more mobility around here, around Monte Cassino. That's a bit easier. Here we just want to kind of move towards Route 6, because that's going to be our goal afterwards. And then I'm deploying any leftover infantry that I have, because in the beginning I wasn't able to do it because this wasn't connected up. So even if I had the units, like I had US infantry in my HQ, I couldn't put it there, but now I can. I'm also moving the HQ forward so that I can make sure that my units are always in range. And I had 1 more reinforcement this tank, so I placed it in there. The enemy is taking some supply away from Route 6, doesn't really matter to us. And now we start, oh, let me just go back. I didn't really manage to. Yeah, so we're using feint attack on Monte Cassino. So the situation with Monte Cassino is similar with Monte Maggio, where suppressive fire and set piece attack aren't doing much of anything. So you want to start off with feint attacks, and the tactic is always going to be the same. Use a feint attack, get out, move a different and get out. Now you want to watch out for how much feint attacks cost. In my British HQ it cost me 2 points, but in my US it cost me 3 points, and you're gonna need 4 in total. So 4 times 2 or 3 is obviously over the amount of command points that you have in the HQ. So you want to make sure that you look at the unit that you're moving in, and you need to watch out for two things. First of all, the unit that you're going to be moving in needs to have some movement points left, so it can then move out after the feint attack again. And you need to look at the HQ it belongs to and make sure that the HQ has enough command points so that you can attack, so that you can use the feint attack. So for example, make sure, okay, if I'm using this unit, is it a British unit? Yes. Does the British HQ has enough command points? Yes. Is it going to have some movement points after I move it to this hexed attack with the feint attack? Yes. Okay, if any of those answers is no, leave. And then, you know, etc. So feint attack with this unit then. So at the moment, we don't actually need to move in and out just yet. But yeah, so see, now we're moving in, and we need to make sure, okay, like, okay, was this unit, did it have enough command points? And could this unit move out again if needed? Okay, now at this point we've already done enough damage so we can start doing regular attacks, but you really want to watch that out with those feint attacks that you are capable to do it, both on Monte Maggio and Monte Cassino. Very important. Now, when talking about that, remember that if you haven't attacked yet and you moved in a way that didn't change the zone of control or fog of war, you can move back. So you have the undo button, so if you like made a mistake, you didn't look what HQ it moved to, you can just unclick that and you know, fix the mistakes. That's an important thing to know. Now we're trying to push through towards Route 6, because remember it's turn 3 and we need to take Route 6 on turn 5. We needed to take Monte Cassino on turn 3, that's why we were focusing on it until now. But now we just want to start pushing closer to Route 6 and you know, making sure that we can get it all in time. Right, the enemy is creating essentially a continuous defense line, which is really smart, but yeah, we start off with suppressive fire at Route 6 and an airstrike. That's what we need to get, so we're focusing on it. We're a turn ahead, which is good, but you always want to make sure that you kind of don't forget yourself. And in this particular map, it's really important, essentially almost any time you attack somebody. Okay, now we're focused on this tank using suppressive fire twice. Is that you almost always, when you're moving somewhere, check that you have movement points to move somewhere else. Because in this map, you're going to want to do that a lot. Okay, now, so we're going to try to destroy this tank so we can sort of start moving forward. Yeah, like we did right now. And also always make sure that the units that are in the back, that you're kind of pushing them forward. Again, I'm redeploying some of my units with the US HQ. Redeploying some of the subs, I should say. And moving the HQ forward. And then moving the rest of the line forward as well. Suppressive fire on that tank over here. And redeploying some of the British units. And moving the British HQ closer. Always moves it closer so it's kind of in the middle of your units. Now this thing that we managed to get them unsupplied, it's not important at all. It's just something that I got lucky with, but it doesn't really affect your tactics. When it comes to Rome, which we have to get Rome on turn 7, you just want to go straight ahead. There's really no particular tactic. Just try to push forward. Ideally, try to kind of get as close to Rome, like I'm doing through the weaker unit. You don't need to kill them all, you just need to take Rome. So don't try to kill everyone. Just kind of try to push through to some sort of part like I did. Like I'm already close to them so I can see what unit is standing on Rome. Is it entrenched? What am I gonna need for it? Right now I see it's a tank. It's not entrenched. That's very good. And that's why we're gonna pushing forward. I'm trying to push through this unit a little bit as well so that I can get a bit sort of like easier movement around. But we're definitely not gonna want to fight all of these units here. Just want to kind of push ahead a bit. That tank up here wasn't really necessary to kill. I just did that because I could and there was nothing else to do with other of my units. That's not anything important. Now we're starting to use feint attack here on this unit again, I'm trying to hurt them a little bit, but my main aim is to sort of sneak as many units towards Rome as possible. You're attacking my units, that's okay. Now I'm destroying this unit so that I can surround their main unit on Rome, and again so that I'm able to jump in, jump out with my units, get them sort of get attacked from multiple hexes. So yeah, so it's a good idea. Now we're starting to attack Rome. We'll start off with the feint attack, and airstrike. Feint attack is always the tactic on this map. Again, feint attack because, like I said, suppressive fire might not do anything, so you're just gonna keep feint attacking. And in this particular scenario, you have a lot of units, so you can do it. Now, at this point, we've gotten Rome. It's only turn 6. We need to get it at turn 7. And at this point, we're done. We have already won. So just to quickly recap, the big part in this particular map is a lot of using a feint attack. Now, let me know if you prefer this format, because I feel like this is much faster. And I'm allowed to talk to you a little bit more about tactics, because in the other format I usually focus on what I'm doing, so I feel like I'm not really explaining why I'm doing. I'm more just like saying, you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I don't really explain as much, and it's almost twice as long. But on this one you can't see things like 0, 2, and you can't see, like, you know, like the actual numbers that you have when you're attacking enemy, and you can't see the objective. So I'm kind of need to kind of remind you and tell you, okay, this is the objectives that we need to take. So let me know which format you would like me to do up on the next maps. Okay, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.